What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another piece of content, introductory content to an episode of SMLPodcast hot off the presses that you may have missed. We tried to tell you about it so you could join the hot discussion live, but if you missed it, I'm telling you, this is one of those episodes that you definitely don't want to miss. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, MM2K, you gonna say that about every episode? No. This episode represents a big pivot, not only for me, but for the Stadia Dosage platform as far as what type of information and what type of cascading of information and where that information is coming from that we're shining a spotlight on. It's a big fiery discussion. It's a discussion that we know is maybe ruffling some feathers the wrong way in the community, but it feels like that nonetheless, these are discussions that need to be had. And if we got to be on the front lines taking the shots for it, it's well worth it because it's going to make gaming and the information and the choices that you make for your own gaming needs better in the long run. Now, what is that discussion that we're talking about? Simply, can the cloud community do better? Now, what do we mean by that? It's something that I've personally been harking on a lot. Project Storm has been talking about it as well. We've been talking about it both on the Stadia Dosage platform. And it's our question. Is the cloud gaming community the publications that make it their responsibility to report the news and do it in a way to where they feel like where they give the perception that they're on top of all of the news? Or are they doing the cloud community a service the way that they're reporting the news and the news that they're focusing on? All right. Now, to be honest, and with no ill will to anybody, our current feelings on this matter, our current opinions are that we could do a lot better. Okay. And again, those are opinions. You can't be wrong for your opinions. I'm gonna go over other opinions that differ from ours that you can't be wrong about your opinions. But at the end of the day, at the heart of the matter, we feel that if you're a publication that wants to take the responsibility upon yourself to report news about said product or service, you report everything. Okay. You got to put your personal feelings aside when you're disseminating that news, because the objective is to put everything out there on the table. Then once you put everything out there on the table, then you can inject your opinion, because now you're giving people an opportunity to see everything to where they can look at your opinion and say, oh, great, Johnny, or great, Jane, that's a great opinion. I feel where you're coming from. Maybe I'll try what you're trying. Or they can say, look, I respect your opinion, Jane and Johnny, but I have a different user case. Those things I'm not worried about. I'm glad that you reported on ABC, and ABC is what I care about, so I'm going to go this way. That's what news publications should be doing. That's where journalist integrity, that's what's tethered to journalist integrity. And I feel like that in the maturity phases that we're going through as a community, that this is something that is key, that is instrumental, but subconsciously we may not be, again, tethering ourselves to, and by us not doing that, we're doing a disservice to the cloud gaming community. Now, what am I talking about? Well, you know how we do. Let me show you something. This is an article from Input Magazine, okay? And in this article, they talk about, a sit down that they had with Catherine Hasaya, spokesperson for Stadia. She's the project manager as well. And in this interview, she talks about what they refer to as a roadmap or a mini roadmap. I'm talking about how Stadia is focusing on its features and utilizing those feature sets in the development that they see with their third-party partners, right? Now, this interview happened the same day that the SG&E, or the first-party development studios, were closed. What also happened that same day is a YouTube job description went out there for the public, for YouTube to hire, that coincides with a lot of the talking points that are talked about here. They're looking for a product manager that can help with Stadia features and bringing them to the retail version of Stadia, so forth, and having developers work in tandem and work better to see those features come to fruition and integrate better with YouTube, right? So, in light of that evidence, and in light of the fact that with my Fortune 500 experience, 25 plus years, that I know that your product manager / spokesperson, they're privy to information that the public isn't privy to, or information that the people affected themselves, your baseline employees, may not be privy to. And that is something like the closure of SG&E. They're kind of like your Secretary of Press of the White House. When those decisions are being made, the spokespeople work in tandem with legal and HR, right, to go over talking points to go and give to the relative public when necessary. Okay, so in all likelihood, Ms. Hisayo was privy of this information well in advance and at the time of this interview. Now, with that being said, with the fact that we got a YouTube job posting that underscores what she says in this interview, and the fact that because of her role, organically she's going to know this information in advance, we feel at the Stadia Dosage that is enough information to make this a noteworthy story to report on. We have our opinion about what it means, but we feel that due to all of those ramifications, it is noteworthy to report on, just as input.mag.com did, hence why they still ran the story. Now, even though they still ran the story, they said that, hey, with the news that Google is shutting down its original game studios to focus on partnering with other companies looking to use Stadia tech, one has to wonder, is this all too little too late? Meaning, is there any difference in this strategy now, or is this going to matter at all now? Let's see. But because of the ramifications of everything that it touches, it's still worthy to report. And that leads into a comment that I want to focus on that I think is spot on for the individual giver's use case. But then it's something that I'm starting to see signs that the cloud community is trying to tether themselves to this opinion, and they're doing it falsely. All right, so what am I talking about? Our good friend, the gaming advocate, we speak to him all the time, our good friend, Chase, he dropped a thread where he says he's gotten questions, because we question the cloud community. We're questioning the cloud news reporting publications, the cloud community that reports on all cloud gaming news, whether there be big entities that report on what Google does, or there are smaller entities that are focused on cloud gaming. We're focused on those that report cloud gaming news, not content creators that may pick a subject here or two like us, and they may focus on certain news that they feel underscores their beliefs or the themes that they're talking about on their platforms. Chase and I fit under the latter. We're not news publications. We don't report on everything. We try. Well, I'm gonna stop speaking for my brother. He can speak for himself, and he can concur whether or not. I try to the best of my ability to report and talk about news, but I may miss it because I'm not a news reporting publication. I don't have the tool set to do that. And I feel that my brother Chase may fit into that, but he can speak to himself. So he can speak for himself. So he says that he got questions on why he didn't report on this, and he gave his reasons why on not reporting on this, which those reasons are there are too many questions out there for him to talk absolutely on this. And I feel that he is absolutely right, that there is not enough information here for anybody to talk absolutely on any of this. Like, we haven't. We've always underlined this as our opinion. We have questioned why, with the explosion of evidence, why so many people insist that we are wrong in our beliefs and why we're just being Stadia fanboys and not believing what they believe. We question why there's that mindset, but we always say we're not in the boardroom. And Chase is right that there's not enough information here to be absolutist on. So that right there answers whatever questions that he may have received. However, what it doesn't do is it doesn't admonish the responsibility taken from a news publication from reporting all news, putting everything out on the table. Even Input Magazine said, you know what? There have been new revelations that maybe change the trajectory of this, but we're going to put this out here anyway and let you decide, and we're going to give our opinions on it as well. That's what a responsible news publication does. This is newsworthy. There's no shaking it. It is news publication worthy. And the simple fact that news publications across the board didn't report it, A, says that they weren't doing enough digging. B, says that maybe they did come across it, but they're trying to caveat the news that you get. And maybe these publications don't mean anything by it. They think, that they're doing the community a service. Here, we're just going to point you to this service or that service because we feel like we can make that decision for you. And to me, I think that's insulting. I think this is something they don't realize. That's insulting, especially for such a young commodity as this, that we really don't know where the apex is going to arrive. That's insulting because what it says is I'm not smart enough to know what was best for my user case. I mean, yes, if I'm a fan of, say, YouTuber or content creator, then yes, I'm going to follow you and I'm going to harp upon every beck and word and do exactly what you want to do. But I feel that the cloud community is the smartest of the gaming community. You can be mad at me for saying that. I think we are very savvy, we're very tech savvy, we're very knowledgeable, and we can make our own decisions. We may be interested in hearing other opinions, but don't try to cram us into a box under your decision. And not reporting on information like this is not a fathomable thing for a news publication. Maybe understandable for a content creator who has much more limited resources and can only focus on XYZ news. You know what I'm saying? So they pick a few subject matters they want to focus on. But if you truly want to take the responsibility of a news publication covering said sector, this is stuff that can't continue to fall under your radar. And the fact that we keep scooping it up and it keeps falling off the radar is saying a lot that, I hate to say this, cloud community, we're falling a little bit short here, and we got to simply do better. So whatever the reason is it because we're just not doing enough due diligence, enough kicking the tires, we're all just regurgitating headlines, or if it's because we're looking at this and we're saying, well, I don't believe that this is something that people should focus on. Put the news out there for them. Put everything out there for them. I may think that it's not important to focus on this silly lawsuit, in my opinion, over Stadia, but it's newsworthy. It's newsworthy, okay? So I'm not trying to tell you how to do your business. I know that may sound hypocritical, but understand that you're being detrimental to the unsuspecting gamer by not putting all the information out there. You can do both. You can put everything out there on the table and still give your opinion and still tell people, well, this is why I think XYZ. But don't caveat the news is the message that we're saying, and we get it. These products, these cloud products are going through a maturity, and maybe we as news publications and such, we gotta get better at reporting on it. And again, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say that every news publication is not doing their job. Maybe some may have just missed this particular report. Maybe some just missed this. But I'm not going to admonish all. I feel like there are some publications that may have just missed this and may have missed other things. And they're and some publications are level-headed, but I can't say that about all. Too many are trying to caveat the news. My message is to those, you know who you are. Look in the mirror. If you're trying to caveat the news and you're only looking for one typical type of news for said platform, and you're not trying to put everything out there, then reevaluate how you move forward. You're not doing the cloud community a service and the just due and the respect to say, look, these people can make their own decisions and they'll respect me for my reporting of the news, diligent reporting of the news, and my opinions. And with that said, that's it from your boy MM2K. Please check out episode 19 where we highlight all of this and we talk about all of this in depth. I will leave links below. I will leave links in the description. You'll have cue cards coming up all over the video and all that other stuff. Definitely some great stuff. With that said, you all have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.